get to introduce John. He's going to give a eulogy in remembrances of his dad. But something of John is, in the last year we know that Ken was failing, and John was with him. And that's a tremendous privilege and responsibility. It's both. And as we heard today, Ken is an independent man. He's not someone who even wanted help. When you offered him help on his neck, and he needed help desperately during the last year. And so John, I have tremendous respect and admiration for you. Some of you loved your dad to the end. And you had in a year shared very difficult times helping someone who needs help but doesn't want it, but also very intimate, touching times. And so John Regan, Ken's favorite son and my best friend.
Did anyone besides my sisters and I have a hawk, a wild hawk, as a pet? Nobody? Seriously? I'm going to tell stories to bring out what I believe my father is. He was the most gentle, humble, yet powerful human being I've ever met. So I'm going to tell stories that will bring to light that, because most of you guys don't know this. I mean, this is in Middletown. Bill Glowacz was talking about it. I guess I'm 9, and in the backyard I see something ruffling in the bushes and these wings. And I go back, and it's a hawk, and its leg is caught, and it's mangled in barbed wire. So I go and I get a blanket, and I go out and I throw it over the hawk. And I keep it away from biting me, because they got that thing, that bites. The beak. They got a beak. And these other, what are those things? Talons, thank you. The talons were grabbing at me, and so I got him down, but I got the barbed wire off, and I wrapped it, around him, and I got him in the house. Now we have a small, remember Lorraine, that wasn't a big house. It was a small 2-bedroom apartment. And this is on the bottom floor. You got the living room, then it goes around, kitchen, dining room, living room. I'm in the living room with this, and then it calms down. So I'm calmed down, and I lift it up, and it's looking at me, and I'm looking at it, and then it takes off. It hits the mirror, it hits the lamp, it goes into the kitchen, knocks over plates, goes into the dining room, hits the chandelier, comes back in, and I'm just as frightened as it is. And it finally lands. We had these chairs, 2 chairs with a high back, and the hawk landed on the back. And we're both breathing. I'm feeling it right now because I remember how frightened I was. And we were both frightened. We're like, okay, we both give up. So then I'm like, all right, 6:15, Dad's going to be home pretty soon. How am I going to explain this to him? Now, this is my dad. Comes in, hey John, how was school? Oh, good. Dad, look, I rescued a hawk.
What the heck?
And I'm going to take care of it and make it better. Oh, wow. Well, that's good. Right, Jackie? Now, then we had a hawk. And now, for those of you that don't believe it, nobody's seen this picture. There I am with the pet hawk. He became tame. He became a part of the family.
Oh my God.
Everybody loved the hawk. However, sometimes my dad's mom, my grandmother, was a very elegant lady and wore nice clothing, high heels, pearls. She would come and visit. She didn't like the hawk. She didn't like the hawk because remember Jackie would like stare at her,
Yeah.
right? It would sit on the thing, and it would just stare at her. And it was, now you look at my dad. He wanted to encourage his son, enabling me to be adventurous and to take care of something. And yet his mother was like, "This is insane. You have a wild animal living in a little apartment." Yet it became our friend, right, Bill? We were in the newspaper over it and everything, but That was my father. Right, Brian? You know, what a guy. He let me, and actually my whole life, he's allowed me to have hawks in my life. You know what? I'm always doing something crazy. And he always supported me somehow, or he looked at the good way. How can we make this work? Now, the next, you know, we had many adventures in between, but how many else in the room, besides not having a pet hawk, how many parents bought a rundown motel in Wall Township? Anybody else? No. I guess we didn't live a normal childhood. Well, he bought this motel called the Warwick. Spend a day or spend a month or just a day at the beautiful Warwick Motor Lodge, a complete resort.
What angle was that taken at?
Huh?
What angle was that taken
It
at?
was up on the roof. Remember, Lorraine?
That's funny.
This is, now, where's Mr. Pat? Right? Did we, go ahead.
How can I forget? I used to be the social director. On weekends.
Right?
When there were wrestling tournaments, we would bring the wrestlers down and they would take over the Warwick Motel.
No, it was child labor. We had to clean the place. But it was a blast.
Right?
We used to run around and
Jump in the pool.
Jump in the
jump in the
pool.
pool.
Mr.
Your
Linkey,
dad was on
remember?
school.
The last time I talked to your daughter, she said, you know what one of the memories I have is we'd bring that sailboat that was supposed to be in the lake and we'd put it in the pool and we'd play Jaws. She said, those are my memories, you know, and your father would just be, okay, you know, I got to go fix something. My memory, though, is in, I guess it was 8th grade, we moved from Point Pleasant Beach, and he bought the motel, and we had to move to Wall Township, and I had to go to a new school. And they were more advanced in algebra. And we just found out recently I'm a little bit dyslexic, just slightly. I'll write a number down, 6798. I would write it down 6788 or something. You know what I mean? I would just reverse numbers. So the teacher, algebra teacher, would have me get up in front and work out these equations. And I couldn't do it. And she would keep explaining it to me. Okay, no. Now, this is what you do. You bring it in, and she uses language I didn't understand, and I'm standing there in front of the whole class, new kid. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Okay, now try it again. And I tried it again. No. You see, you're not doing this. Keep working on it. And she'd work with someone else, and I remember just standing there, looking at these numbers. I have no idea. You know, I have no idea what's going on. And she's going to come over and yell at me again. She did this like 4 or 5 days in a row. So on Friday, I decided I'm not going back. And Monday morning for school, this is the office. I remember I went, grabbed a key for room 33, and as on my way to school, I jumped into room 33. I didn't go to school. And I watched Flying Nun, Green Acres, Price is Right, right? Now, so the scary part is, okay, my dad's going to get home 6:15. He comes in, hey, John, how was school today? Good. Oh, good, okay. He makes his beans. Right. Now, this goes on for 4 days. And I'm planning now my escape to go to Florida, to get out. And Lorraine and I we're building downstairs in the cellar, we're building a cage for Jupiter, who you've heard about, the Marmaduke Great Dane, out of chicken wire. You know, how crazy. I'm thinking I'm going to bring my dog on a plane in chicken wire coop. I just wanted to get out. And so Friday comes. And now I have it a routine. I picked a different room. I wanted a clean room. You know, but we had 65 rooms, so I just got another. And now I'm the king. Let's see what happens to Sister Betril today. You know, it's Flying Nun. So it's all over. 6 o'clock. My dad comes home, and I'm like, all right. Monday, I'm heading to Florida. And he goes, hey, John, how was school today? Oh, you know school. John, your school called today. You know, they said you haven't been there in a week. And I just didn't say anything. And he took me for a car ride. And I just didn't talk, and he kept asking me questions. You know, you're taking Jupiter? You're building a cage in the cellar? I just never said a thing. I didn't know. I couldn't explain it to him that I don't want to get up in front of that class and be made a fool of again, because I'm never going to understand what that lady's saying. So he says, do you not like that new school? I said, no, Dad. He goes, you want to go back to Point Pleasant Beach? I said, yeah. So that Monday, he goes to Point Pleasant Beach Board of Education. He tells them we're moving back, and he starts paying tuition. And he hires my cousin, your cousin, Kevin, to drive me to school and to pick me up. And this was supposed to go for a couple of months. 3 years later, we finally moved back. This man championed me. I believe in you. You don't like that school. We're going to do whatever it takes to make it right, and so you could be where you are. And all these memories I have with Ken Hildebrand and Michael Terranova playing football, it all came because he championed me. Yeah, well, and he does to this, till he died on Sunday, he never knew what it was, what I didn't like about that school. He never even asked. Boom, let's just go. Amazing, absolutely amazing. Then, junior year, I don't know, has anyone here totally experienced unconditional love? I have. Junior year, everyone knows how religious my dad was. Mr. Lickey, many times we've all gone in and found him praying on his knees. He was an altar boy since he was, 8, 9. Never missed church. First time he missed church was last year when he was too ill. And I remember it broke his heart to, not to go. So, junior year, I'm 16, in the winter, Sunday morning, we're all going to church. I'm not going. Do you remember, Jackie? I told Dad I'm not going. He goes, what? I said, Dad, I'm not going. I don't believe in God. If you could have seen his face. I said, oh, by the way, I'm not running track either. Now, you have to understand, we're heading into junior year. The year before, I was state champion as a sophomore, which is pretty rare. My father, I saw his heartbreak because he felt I failed. I failed religiously, and this guy has unbelievable talent, and I went to go play intramural basketball, if you could believe it. He's playing intramural basketball, not even regular basketball. He's playing on some little, team. And yet, it was about 2 weeks it took him to get over it. And he started treating me regular again. He even asked me, how many points did you score? It was like 4 was my highest in any game. That spring, I met a girl. I told her this whole story, and she said, maybe it's time you ask God back into your life. You don't really not believe in God. And you like to run. Well, the reason I was able to ask God back into my life is because, like Andre said, he lived it. He forgave me. And he loved me, even though I was an atheist intramural basketball player. It was unconditional love. Because I threw it all in his face. Your religious stuff, your da-da-da, your praying, your church stuff, I don't believe in any of it. But it was real to him. He really did believe it. And he showed the love of Jesus Christ to me those 6 months that I did not. And that allowed me to listen to this girl, Holly Baker, Jack Baker's daughter. It allowed me to listen that there really is a God, that is a loving God, and your Father embodies him. So that was a story that all the youth group, thousands of kids that have seen their lives change. I was telling, where's Jeff? Oh man, I saw him out in the hall, Jeff Scheller. I remember the first memory of meeting Jeff and him playing guitar at the youth group with Billy, where's Franch, right? You guys, you were amazing together, right? And those kids, being blessed by your singing. And all of that, what I'm coming back to is all those lives that were changed, the youth ministry, the boardwalk, we were the last ones to play in the Arnold Theater, Frank, right? All that came
They did.
from this man's powerful faith and living it. Like Andre said, he lived it. He didn't try to convince me. He didn't try to change me. He didn't try to get me, counseling. He just loved me. And it allowed me to come back and embrace God and to embrace what's going on. Wow. So anyway, yes, that's powerful, right? All right, so let's get to the fun. Who was at Bill Skillender's grand opening? I'll tell you, my dad was the star. Bill, it was your grand opening. Bill started a new company in the worst financial times in the world, and he started a financial wealth management company on his own, and it's thriving. And he invited my dad. I'm the MC. Now I'm going to be the MC for the event. He invites my dad, and I'm like, Bill, you know how much work my dad is? I got to get him there. I got to get him there. I have to get him in his wheelchair. I have to get him out of his wheelchair. I have to oversee him that he's okay. We got to get him there. My dad was amazing. It was his last great hurrah. If you look at these pictures, look at that smile. Right? Look at that smile. Now, we had all the people in front of Bill's office, all of his clients. Every single picture, my dad moved right into the front. You see it? He was right there. He was as happy as could be. He had a 4-piece rock and roll band. My dad is sitting right in front of the band with his Chianti and his manicotti in the other hand. Like, he was just 85 years old, and he stole the show. Right? Absolutely. The life force that is this man, gentle, humble, yet amazingly powerful, because everyone in that place knew him by the end of the... You met him one time, right, Catherine? Yeah. And everybody remembers this power of this gentle man in a wheelchair. So, last Sunday, a week before Sunday, my sister came down and she saw that I needed help, that I was in way over my head. And she worked on a beautiful assisted living place for my father. And it was like a motel. And we got him there on Tuesday, and he wanted to give me 2 weeks off. He was there for 2 weeks. He wanted to give me time off. And he said, don't come visit me for a week. Don't come visit me for 1 week. You need a week off. Because he knew how hard it was to take care of him. So I did. I enjoyed 5 days. Last Sunday morning I woke up and I just sensed something. And I called Lorraine. I said, Lorraine, let me take Dad his stuff. I want to take him his manger. He has this manger. My dad's always loved the manger, I guess it's called a manger, right, for Christmas? Yeah, correct. And I put that in the car. I got him his lemonade, right, his Sunday paper. And Mr. Lidkey's letters. So I drove over to the place. I come in and I'm thinking, is he going to be mad at me because I'm 2 days early? Or is he going to be happier? And I didn't care. I just felt something. Sometimes you just know you need to go do something. So I come in, I go, hey Dad, it's John. Oh, hi John. Dad, I brought you a bunch of stuff. Oh, I said, I got your manger. He goes, oh, thanks. I go, I got Mr. Lidkey's letters. Oh, thank you. I got your Minute Maid lemonade. Oh, thank you. And I got your Sunday paper. Oh, thank you. But I spread them all out around the room. And he's leaning off a little bit in his bed. So I went to move him. And he goes, John, I want to go home. He said, you mean to Port Charlotte? The house in the golf course? Yes. I go, when do you want to go, Dad? Today. And he looked at me with this innocence, that gentle humility. And I knew. I said, okay, Dad, you just got to give me a little bit of, give me some time, okay? So I went out, I went to the nurse's station, and I introduced myself, Dennis. Hi, Dennis. My name's Johnny Regan. I'm Ken's son, Ken Regan's son. Oh, everybody loves your father. Thank you. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you, Dennis. Dennis, my father wants to go home. And Dennis goes, when? He's here for 2 weeks. I goes, no, he wants to go home today. And he said, oh, that's not possible. You know, we don't have whatever the ones that sign you out. He hasn't had his vitals checked. He had a high fever yesterday. He needs this, he needs that, he needs this. I said, Dennis, can you legally keep him here? Is he legally under your constraints? He said, no. So I can take him home if he wants. Yes. I said, Dennis, I'm going to call my sister, and I want her on board, but my father wants to go home. And you could support me and help me, or you can fight me, but he wants to go home. And at that moment, Dennis switched, and he said, let's get your dad home. I'll start taking care of things. And I called Lorraine, and I explained it to her. And, you know, first she was like, but wait, he seems happy there, right? But I said, Lorraine, trust me. And she said, okay, I'll be there in an hour. And she got there, and you could see, right, Lorraine? He wanted to go home. So we got Dennis was great. We started to wheel him out ourselves, but Lorraine and I carried him. His head was not doing that well. And so we got him, Dennis got him these guys to take him, a transport service. They were great. They knew how to lift him. They got him into the thing. Lorraine and I drove ahead. They bring him into his house. And once he comes through the door, the house is on a golf course with open windows in the front, so the sun is shining through. And I saw his face, and as it's the sun's hitting it, and you could see the joy that he's coming through his doors with the light. There was just such a light coming off the golf course that day. And they moved him into his bed. They got him into his bed, amazingly gentle. These guys, they were really big, right, Lorraine? They were big, but they were unbelievably gentle. And they put him in, and I remember walking them out to thank them, and I started walking back into the bedroom, and I hear Lorraine, she goes, Dad, do you know you're home? He goes, yes, thank you. Like, my dad's thanks used to be thanks, because he hated having to have help. He goes, yes, thank you. And then Lorraine did some things, and I went in and sat with him. I said, Dad, you know you're home, right? He goes, yes, thank you. And then he started to go in and out. And Lorraine would spend time with him. I would spend time with him. We spent time together with him, caressing him, loving him, talking to him, singing to him. And I guess it was the course of over, 2 hours, Lorraine? About 2 hours. And I was sitting out in the living room, and Lorraine comes out and she says, I think he's gone. So I come in, and his arms were like this. Now this is the remarkable point. I put my hand on his chest, and the reason I knew he was dead wasn't because he wasn't breathing. That powerful life force, that gentle, humble, powerful force was gone. It wasn't there. And it just reminded me, my goodness, how blessed we have been to know this unbelievable human being. And he left the way he wanted to go. In his bed, in his home, on the golf course, with his loving children by his side. It was a magnificent life. Power, real power uplifts. Real power energizes. Real power supports life. And that was the power that my father had. And I'm blessed to have had him in my life, to have all of you as friends, and to have had the experiences that we've all had with Ken. Lorraine, Jackie, thanks for being my sisters, and now we carry on his humility. Thank you.